So how did you transition from being a girlfriend to being a parent? Because, I mean, it's not like you had a kid. You literally went from crazy single, outrageous Ava to being a mauve.
Yeah. I mean, parenting, no matter if you're a step parent or like the actual parent, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's not always a rewarding thing.
Yeah, you have them for 18 years and then you got to let them go.
That's sad.
And I'm like, I wouldn't be able to let them go.
No, it's sad.
I would be like fucking Gypsy Rose's mother. Welcome back to the Let's Say More podcast. I am Solange.
I am Ava.
And today we have a little special episode. We're going to be talking about parenting, being a step parent, as Ava is a mauve.
I am. It's tattooed in her handwriting, actually.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
I love that. Mm-hmm. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. I got a set of questions that I wrote down so we can get all the juicy juice about being a step parent. And I guess it's going to lead into the other topics that we're going to talk about later this year about IVF and parenting and all of that in the community, as a lot of people want to have children. So let's get started.
All right.
I'm going to ask you.
I'm in the hot seat.
You're in the hot seat today.
All right.
I mean, I'm sure I'll get questions
You're
too,
gonna get questions too.
I'm a parent of a 4-legged child.
Yeah, but we'll get to that.
Talk to me a little bit about Melly so we know who we're talking about.
Yeah, so Melly is my 13-year-old stepdaughter, right? But I call her my kid. I've known Mel since she was 3 years old. I met her like right after she turned 3. Little girl that was into Frozen and singing all the Frozen songs. And she was always very like artsy, and she was never an iPad kid. So that got her creative brain to go. So every time we went out to eat, she didn't have an iPad or a phone. So she was always coloring, which I think has helped her develop into this very creative young teenager that she is.
I love that.
Full of spunk, and she's got the attitude, the typical teenage attitude.
Yeah.
She has it. She's into the baggy clothes right now.
The Urban Outfitters vibe?
Yes. Baggy. Like everything is baggy.
Like 90s?
Yes, like 90s.
I love it.
But no, she's an only child, and I hope one day soon, this year, we can give her a sibling.
Oh, yeah. Is that the goal?
That's the goal. That's why the IVF conversation is something I'm like really invested in, because I want to learn everything about it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
How long were you dating Fernanda before you met Mel?
I think I met her not too long after we were dating. We went to the mall, and I wasn't introduced as like Fernanda's girlfriend or anything like that. Yeah. And Mel and I just like kicked it off, and she was like chasing me, or she was having me chase her around one of the stores. And we have a Polaroid picture of us, our very first one, as the three of us. Aww. And it's the three of us from the mall. And since then, like, we always take, not Polaroid, sorry, the photo booths.
Yeah.
So since then, like, we always make it a thing to make sure we take those.
That's so cute.
Yeah. So not that long, and then I met her, and we literally just hit it off.
Does she ever ask, like, who you were or what, like, any of that, like, any of those questions?
Yeah, and Fernanda would just tell, like, I'm her friend. So I was her friend for a while until she was old enough for Fernanda to explain to her, this is my girlfriend. And then because I think at such a young age she was introduced to it, there weren't any problems with it on her end. You know, so, and Mel and I just got along so well, and we just become close from the beginning. Yeah. That like there's just this bond. So I feel like for Mel, because of the bond, it was easy to accept me. I feel like if we didn't have that bond, she may have not accepted me. Yeah. And been more like, no, this is my mom. I'm not sharing my mom with anyone.
And kind of like you're just like that typical step parent, right? Like that whole, like, you don't really like your step parent, and, you know, you're just stealing my mom away or my dad away, or...
And I think Fernanda's done a really good job in not letting Mel feel that way. I know in the beginning when we first dated, Fernanda had the guilt of like, I'm leaving her home a lot.
Yeah.
And there was a time where like her friends were even telling her. So we did pull back on going out.
So how did you transition from being a girlfriend to being a parent? Because, I mean, it's not like you had a kid. You literally went from crazy single, outrageous Ava to being a mom.
Yeah. I mean, I think I have really a lot of nurturing sides to me.
Yeah.
So that part was easy, but giving up a lot of my own freedom for a child that isn't yours was a big sacrifice. And Fernanda just put me in positions where like I had to be a parent because Fernanda works. So she works at the mall, I think, at the time. And she was like, well, can you go pick Melanie up, or can you drop Melanie off here? And, or can you watch Mel for me while I'm working? And so I developed this like different sort of care for Mel. And I felt like she was my responsibility. But for a long time, people didn't see me as like a parent figure to her. So it was hard to like feel like I was some sort of parent because I didn't know if it was right or wrong to feel that way. And but Mel made it easy because she depended on me for a lot of things. And we were just really close. And I wish there was like videos of us when we were back in the day when she was younger, because like it was cute. It was our bond's always been really cute, and
It's still cute.
she's very protective over me.
Yeah. Oh, yes. This is true.
You know, like it doesn't matter who you are in her life. If you disrespect me, she's not okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's very protective.
I've been witness to this.
Yeah, she is.
I love that about her, though.
Yeah.
She stands her ground and is protective of the people she loves.
She's a Leo. She's a very true Leo. My mom's a Leo.
Oh,
Yeah.
We love Mama June.
Yeah, we do.
So tell me, was there an awkward moment that you might have had with her where you had to get super involved and you felt like, oh my God, I have to step up and be a parent, but I don't know what the hell I'm doing?
There's been a few. So when she was 9, she became a woman. And
Oh my God, so young.
I was home by myself.
Wow.
And I did not know what to do, because these are conversations like the birds and the bees, or like drug use. Those hard conversations, I've told Fernanda, those are like, that's her. Like you do that because essentially, I don't know. That's Fernanda's child, right? Yeah. Like, so Fernanda has a way that she wants to raise her kid, right? I don't want to get in the way of talking to her about things maybe I shouldn't be talking about yet, right? So then when that happened, it happened out of the blue. And Fern was at work, and I was like, I literally was freaking out inside.
But also, she was only 9.
And she was only 9.
That is so young.
She went through like a breakdown. And she was like, why is this happening? So I had to literally say, oh God, I freaking forgot. It's something like God is telling you like, it's like you're a woman now, and he's giving you like superpowers, and you're going to be able to like feel different things. Like your instincts are going to be bigger. And I try to give her like a pep talk on like, you know, this is your calling as a girl, you know,
you're going into womanhood.
She did not care. She was boohoo crying.
Yeah.
Boohoo crying. And I'm like, oh my God. And up until this point, like, I think I only would give Mel a bath when she was like really young. And then as she got older, I told Fernanda, like, I'm not comfortable. Like I till this day, I don't walk into Mel's room if she's changing. If I have to give her something when she's in the bathroom, I turn my head. I just don't think it's appropriate for me.
Well, you're giving her privacy.
Yeah, and I'm giving her privacy. So that was like a big deal for me. And I'm like, oh my God. And I had to go figure it out and for Fernanda to come
to her
home.
What a pad is and how you use it and how you put it on your underwear.
And then like how to dispose of it, how to keep it clean, and how like her hygiene and what she needs to do. But she was very upset that this was happening because it made her feel like she's not a kid anymore.
Well, that's exactly what it means.
Yeah. And then
at 9 years old, that's not fair to her.
No.
Because you are still a kid.
I know. And I feel so bad because when it's happening, she gets the worst type of cramps. And I
Yeah.
feel so bad for someone so little to experience that. And so that was probably the oh shit moment, like I have to take this on. And then Fernanda comes home and then obviously takes it from there. But that was my oh shit, I'm a real mom. I'm a real boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that
I think I'm just thrown off by the fact that she was 9.
Yeah.
Like, that to me is just to have that conversation with a 9-year-old when you should be having it with 12 or above.
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah.
that's
And she was so
that's
little.
crazy. She's so little. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So as a stepmom, how do you handle discipline?
Oh, I think I could be the good cop and the bad cop, but I think I'm the bad cop most of the time because Fernanda's a fun parent. Fernanda's very fun. I'm very like, oh, wait, you didn't do this? No. Like, give me your tablet. Go do your chores now. I mean, keep in mind, she only has 2 chores.
But that's funny because I would think you're the fun parent.
No, not as she got older, because I'm trying to build this foundation of responsibility for her because it starts when you're young, right?
Yeah, true.
And then but the thing is I could be the bad cop, but she adores me. And she knows, like, after I'm done being the bad cop, I go in her room and we have a conversation. And we have conversations all the time. And I think that's what strengthened our bond.
Yeah.
Because I don't ever say, well, because I told you to. I'm not telling you this because I'm not telling you to do it because I told you to. No, I always explain, this is why I'm telling you to do it. And I think that is important because a kid will be like, well, you're just telling me to do it because you want me to. But why am I doing this? Like, we took geometry because they told us to, and now we're all like, why did we
and
take
then
it?
I'm like, what? I'm not a scientist.
I'm not
going to
Right.
I'm not going to work at NASA. Like, what
Right.
the hell do I need to know all
Exactly.
this stuff for?
So I just think that if we explain the why to the kids, then they understand it, and it helps with their development as they get
Yeah.
older. But I am the bad cop. I will
Have
admit
you ever done anything in a disciplinary manner that backfired on you?
that. Yes. She would slip up once in a while and say bad words. And I would, because Fernanda was like, I'm not doing this to her. I would put hot sauce in her mouth, but ask me if she said the bad word again. So then one time, I would put hot sauce in her mouth, and then she would cry, right? And then she'd spit it out and whatnot. And then one time, I don't remember what the bad word was. She said a bad word, and I was like, I'm putting hot sauce in your mouth. She didn't flinch. She just stood there. Because she liked.
And now she loves hot sauce.
Yes. All the foods have to have hot sauce. So it backfired on me.
Oh my God. That is
So
terrible.
now it's like, there's nothing I could do now. I mean, not that she says bad words.
Yeah.
But maybe that's why she doesn't say a bad word. Right? She's a very respectful kid when she speaks. But yeah, that backfired on me.
Oh my God.
So be careful when you give your kid hot sauce. They're gonna go on that show, Hot Ones. Have you seen that on YouTube?
Oh yeah, the wings.
The wings.
Yeah.
She's
I
gonna
watch
be
it all
on
the
that
time.
one time with like a ghost pepper one.
Yeah.
That's gonna be Mel.
She's gonna be like, when I was young,
Yeah.
my mom thought she was so funny,
Jokes on her.
giving me hot sauce to get me to not say shit. Well, guess what, Mom?
Shit.
Shit.
She's gonna eat it.
She's gonna take a big old bite of that wing.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, Jesus. What's something that made you realize, like, yep, I love this kid. This is my kid.
We were in the car. I think I was going to drop her off home because I was watching her, and the Sam Smith song "Stay" came on. Right, that's "Stay."
Yeah.
And she started crying,
Aww.
and I was like, "Why are you crying?" Because this. No, she used to say, "Because this song reminds me of you, and I don't want you to go." And she starts crying, and I was like, "Oh my God!" And like touched my heart. And I have a voice note from her too that she's with Fernanda, and I guess she was missing me on a random night, and she's like, "I miss my all," and I was like, "Oh, okay." Like, we're stuck, and then we used to say we're stuck like glue, and we used to have like this we're stuck like
Yeah,
glue,
yeah, yeah.
right? We used to do that. So yeah, I just knew like that's when I knew how much she loved me.
She has characteristics that she's developed that are very much you.
Yeah, the way she speaks.
Like, I notice things that I'm just like, okay, that's not genetic. That is learned behavior
Yeah.
because she got that from Ava.
The way she speaks, the way she is factual, the way she will ask you for a fact to back up what you're saying to her. Like, oh, okay, when did that happen? Like when did I?
So that's backfiring on you too.
But at least I always know when I'm like, oh, I'm prepared for this argument.
You have to come with your notebook,
Yeah.
pen and paper,
Yeah.
ready to fight.
But the way she also like puts sentences together, I hear myself in a lot of those, and I'm like, oh my God.
What does she want to do when she grows up?
Well, she says she's working for Priscilla at the churro truck when she's 15.
Yeah, when she's 15.
Then she's working at In-N-Out.
Okay, that's a good job.
Then at one point she said lawyer, but now she's saying she wants to do something in the music industry.
I was going to say, I could see her being a little lawyer.
I could see her being a lawyer. But with the music industry, she doesn't want to be tied to a label, so she wants to go independent. So I'm not going to push.
Maybe she could be a music lawyer.
She would, yeah. See, maybe I need to go that route and try to get her to go there.
Yeah.
Well, at least she won't be representing Diddy.
Oh, I certainly hope not.
Yeah, nope. She'll be going after those motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you noticed I haven't been cussing?
After you just said motherfuckers?
Mother suckers.
Oh, mother suckers.
Play the tape back, mother suckers.
Okay. All right. We'll see how long this lasts.
It's going to last.
We'll see how long this resolution lasts.
It's going to last.
By March, she's going to be throwing F-bombs.
We should do an over-under on how long it's going to go. You should do a poll. How long is it going to go?
I'm not part of this.
No, you cuss
resolution.
you
I cuss all the time, and I don't mind cussing. So if you can give your pre-self stepmom any advice, what would it be? What would it have been?
Trust her judgment more.
Oh.
Yeah. Trust that you're doing a good job and just like let go and like let her show you that she did something wrong rather than like anticipating something wrong happening.
Yeah, I think you're still learning that.
I am still learning that because you have this fear, like you don't want them to make a mistake, and then I have a fear of like I don't want her to get hurt, even though I know that's part of life. But she's so sensitive that it would break my heart if she came home crying over something, like not just necessarily like a boyfriend, like even a friend. If a friend was being mean to her, like Mel is one of the most kind-hearted people I've ever met, and I just don't want anything to jade her in life because I want her to stay kind-hearted. And this world can be so cruel.
Yeah. That's a good piece of advice to give yourself.
Yeah.
What piece of advice would you give somebody who just started dating somebody who has a kid?
Don't rush to be their parent. Let it come naturally. And that's one thing that I did. I didn't rush into it. I let it just flow. Like, don't get caught up in like, you have to be the father figure, the mother figure. Like, just chill and just have fun with it because, and they do grow up so fast. Like I kind of regret not holding on to certain moments with Mel because I'm never getting those back. And she, like when she was younger, she was wanting to cuddle. Now it's like, ugh, like don't come near me, but it's
a teenager.
Normal. It's normal. We were all like that.
Yeah, and I will say, being a kid who was a teenager, both of us once at some point, we were the same way. But then you kind of come back full circle once you hit your 20s. You're kind of like, Mom, and you want to cuddle, and you want that love and affection from your parent, and then you're kind of like, oh, why was I such a snotty little asshole when I was younger? Like now all I want to do is be like with my mom or my dad or whatever, whoever your parent is. Yeah.
Now the only time she like reaches for me is when she's sick. Then she's like, oh, don't. I want my off. My off.
Or when her mom's being mean to her, right?
No,
she comes for defense.
She's very prideful. Very like if she's in trouble, she's like, all right. Like, I'm going to take it.
Do you guys parent as like a united front?
Not as often as I would like to. I think Fernanda, because it is Fernanda's child, Fernanda's a very, Melanie is Fernanda's everything, right? And I think that Fernanda, even if Mel broke this glass on purpose,
Yeah.
and I was like, why did you do that? Mel would be like, Fernanda would be like, well, it like fell out of her hand.
She would defend her.
But like with so much. Now that Melanie's getting older, she doesn't do it as often, but it is hard for Fernanda to allow Melanie to get in trouble. So I've learned that a lot of the times if Fernanda's disciplining Mel, I just need to be quiet and be in the other room. And then I need to just tell Fernanda to allow me to discipline Melanie. And she's been doing better, but you know, for Fernanda, it is a learning curve for her because like she was her only parent at one point in her life.
Yeah, but you came into the picture when she was so little.
I know.
I think it's different for different people when they have a step parent that steps into the picture. And it very much depends on the age.
Yeah.
You know, like when you're really little, I think you kind of see this parent as your parent. I mean, you're 3. What, like, how much of a memory do you have prior to that?
No, I know. I don't know. I just think Fernanda has maybe a hard time of letting go of control when it comes to Mel, because for Fernanda, that's like the most permanent thing in her life.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I don't know if she fully wants to be like, okay, Ava, like,
yeah,
you know, it's all yours, which I'm not asking for. But I do think that at times, I wish at times we could come to the understanding of like, just let me drive. You know, like build that trust or like, just let me drive on both ends, I'm sure, you know. But other than that, I mean, I think we've done a good job with Mel because of how I've seen her behavior with other people, how I see her behavior with other children, how she's a very caring child.
Do you think that there's a difference though in being a step parent of a same-sex relationship than a step parent of a heterosexual relationship?
I don't know because I've never been one in a heterosexual, but I feel like it is hard because you also don't want, like, if Melanie decides she likes girls, right? The stigma is going to come that Ava and Fernanda, she likes girls because of Ava and Fernanda.
Oh, yeah,
right?
That's so stupid.
So you kind of want to always encourage her to don't do this because we did this, right? Like whatever you feel in your heart, whoever you
love,
do it.
Whatever you love, that is your prerogative. You're entitled. If anything, you should feel more free and more open to be yourself.
Yeah. So I know when she was younger, when Fernanda and I, like, maybe not Fernanda, maybe more so me, when we would be out, like I did feel weird holding Fernanda's hand because I didn't want people to think that like we were grooming Melanie. And that was something that was always a thing for me, is I didn't want people to think that. I didn't want people to think that we are inappropriate in front of Mel. That was a huge thing when Mel was younger.
Oh, wow. Yeah. See, for me, it doesn't, that stuff doesn't even come up in my mind. Like, to me, I look at it as we are a loving couple. We have a loving child, and we're going to show that child what love looks like.
Yeah.
As you would a straight couple or any other couple. Like if you have parents who show each other affection, who show each other love, who show each other respect, and, you know, create that love that makes you want to be like, oh my God, I want to grow up to have that.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what sex they are. It doesn't matter whether they're 2 women or 2 men or a man and a woman or whatever, you know? No, I mean, that's what I think 100%, because I don't think that it matters. They're going to grow up the same way I was raised to be straight in a lot of ways, right? Because I came from a heterosexual family. My mom never, on the contrary, she did not want me to be gay. I came out to be who I am, and I am as gay as they come. And
because you're a gold star.
There's nothing that could have persuaded me to be otherwise. You know, seeing my mom with a man didn't persuade me to want to be with a man. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's the same way the other way around. Because you're seeing your mom with another woman doesn't mean that she's going to be like, I have to go be with another woman. It just means that this is the kind of love that they have, which is different, but it doesn't mean that it's good or bad, or it doesn't mean any of that, you know?
I just didn't want Mel to ever get into situations at school and people say, you have two moms. And they did. And I asked her before, like, what would you do if someone wasn't going to be your friend because of that? And she'd be like, I don't need them.
Yeah.
You know, so that's when I knew, okay, she's going to be all right, right? Because at first, that's what you're worried about.
Yeah.
But then you ask questions and you see how they respond. And Mel's very like, if you don't like that I have two moms, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, because there's this, and that's the beauty of like today's generation, these little kids that are growing up in these like multi, you know, facet homes of different kinds of parents and co-parents, and even these like blended families, straight or not straight. You know, it's that they are very much aware and they don't care. You know, for the most part, some do, and it depends on the situation. But they're very much like, especially when they go into it very young, they know, you know, like, this is my family. They love me all the same, and I love them. And whether you like it or not, that's on you. And, you know, the funny thing is I was watching this show on Netflix. I forgot the name. I think it's something like You Shouldn't Say That or something like that. And it's about all sorts of different topics. So it's blind people, sex workers, you know, little people, and all the things that are like politically incorrect to say to them, and all the things that are offensive, or, you know, transgendered people. And one of them was children of same-sex relationships. And from like really older people who have, you know, who have gay parents, to like young people who were actually children of in vitro, like like IVF. And they all kind of said, they were all very much on the same page on their interpretation of the way they were raised. And they were all very open with, like, you know, one of them was actually a foster child, and she came into the relationship of the two dads a little bit older. And she's like, they're my dads, and I don't see them any different than I would, you know, other parents. Like, one parent helped me when I got my period, and that's the parent I told, because I knew that if I told my other dad, he would have freaked out. And he wouldn't know what to do. So I told, you know, this dad. And then the other one was, you know, very much like this little boy who was a child of, you know, insemination, IVF kid. And he says, oh, I was conceived through IVF. You know, and I have two moms, and they asked him, like, have you ever been teased or whatever? Like, do people say anything to you when you are in school or anything like that? And he's like, yeah, sometimes kids will say something, but I don't care. Like, it doesn't bother me. I have love at home, and I know that that's all that matters. And this kid is like 10, maybe. I was like, wow, okay. You know, that's cool.
It is cool. It's cool, and it makes you feel good about the decisions you make. I still don't really like kiss Fernanda all crazy in front of Mel, but I wouldn't do that if I was in a straight relationship either. Because I do think that kids are impressionable, and I think that when the time is right and she sees it on Gilmore Girls or in high school when she sees her friends kissing boys, that's how, for me, I'd rather her learn it that way than to be like, oh, my mom and mom do it. Like, I want to see what that feels like. I don't know. I don't want her to
So you are trying to keep her as sheltered and as baby as you possibly can for as long as you can.
Until she goes to high school, and then I know it's over.
Yeah. See,
over.
I was not raised like that.
It's over. Like, she's going to high school in September.
Yeah.
So I only have a little bit of time. And then it's
but
like,
you also have to prepare her so that it doesn't come as a shock.
so you want me to do like a make-out session in front of her?
No, I'm not talking about you making out in front of her, but I'm saying like you got to prepare her for things that she's.
Oh yeah, I'm trying. I do my part in preparing her with like bullies, and if someone says these things to you, this is how you react. Fernanda's gonna prepare her in like the other things.
Yeah.
Right. Like, cause that's like
So you guys have your separate roles
Yeah.
to like what topics you tackle.
Yeah. And like with Fernanda too, I think that if Mal was like that, they said I have a big forehead, right? Fernanda would be like, "We'll just punch them in the throat. Well, this is why I put you in jiu-jitsu." Well,
Oh my God. No.
I'm like, no.
We don't resolve things with violence.
No, you just tell them, you just look at yourself in the mirror, you don't have a big forehead, and you laugh it off and you keep moving.
Yeah.
And so, all jokes aside, I don't know if that's what Fernanda would tell her. I know Fernanda has her in jiu-jitsu because she's like, I want her to defend herself. And I'm on the other hand, like, nothing's going to happen to her. She's going to be loved by everyone and she's fine.
Nothing's going to happen to her because I'm going to keep her locked away in the tower forever.
Yeah, right. Can't. I just told her if someone punks you call me, like they're going to call me. I'm coming to the school and having a conversation with the parent. Like, why is your kid such a douchebag?
Yeah, my mom was like, oh man, my mom probably parented in all the wrong ways sometimes, but I thought, it actually kept me from doing anything. So my mom would tell me like, if you're being bullied at school, you go and you beat the living shit out of that kid.
Oh,
but
okay.
if you can't beat the crap out of that kid and I get a call because you got caught or because that kid beat you up, then you are in a lot of trouble. She goes, so be wise with how you decide to handle a situation. And I would always be like, okay. And then I remember one time I was getting bullied by this girl who thought I was hitting on her girlfriend. And her girlfriend was writing me love letters.
Oh, you were the one being persuaded.
Her name was Tulips. The girlfriend who wanted to kick my butt.
Oh my. Was that her actual name?
Tulips.
Was that her actual? They get it. Solange. They get it.
Was her. Well, I'm just saying because I thought maybe it sounded like tulips, like the flower.
No, I think they all got what he meant.
She actually still goes by Tulips.
I want to see her.
And she is a DJ.
Is it DJ
I
Tulips?
think on a radio station.
DJ Tulips.
Yeah.
On the ones and twos.
On the ones and twos.
Ew.
So gross. But yeah, she actually came up to me one time in high school. I think I was like a junior at this point, a junior or sophomore. And she started talking all this shit to me and I didn't know what she was talking about. And she was like, yeah, and da-da-da-da-da. And I don't even remember the girl's name.
And what'd you do?
And I was sitting there, I was shocked. Because at first I'm like, what is happening? Mm-hmm. And I remember I was sitting there with friends and they all stood up and I was not a fighter.
Oh, I know. Oh, I know you're not a fighter.
I was not a fighter. Like, I was just like, no, I'm not trying to get into a fight.
Did you have your glasses on?
No, I did not. And I'm just sitting there listening to her and then she got in my face. And when she got in my face, at that point I stood up. I was much taller than her.
Yeah.
So I don't think she anticipated me being bigger than her. I mean, she was big, but like big the opposite way. And so, I mean, she was like, bigger that way.
We get it. They get it. They get it.
So I was scared of her and she was scared of me because I was taller. And I got up and I remember I got down from I was sitting on like a tree thing. And I got down on, and I looked at her and I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't want your girlfriend. I don't even know who you are. And like, I don't want beef. Like, I'm not trying to fight, and she, I think, got so thrown off guard that I was being just very passive about it because she looked like she wanted to tear me apart. And at that point, she got all flustered or whatever. And then it's almost like one of those things where you have a friend there and you're kind of like, hold me back kind of thing. The friend was trying to hold her back. And I just started laughing. Because I was like, this is ridiculous. And that was that. And ever since then, she would give me the dirtiest looks. Mm-hmm. She would mad dog me every time. She would just, and I was just like, whatever. I don't want your girl. I don't care. And then they broke up.
Two lips and her broke. They didn't live happily.
No, they didn't live happily ever after.
The only fights I got into were because of Lily, my sister. I was protecting her from the bullies. And then one of the fights, she said, no, they were lying to you. I wasn't getting bullied. And I got suspended.
Yeah.
Twice.
See, I never got in trouble in school like that. I never got into any fights. The fights that I did get into were outside of school.
Oh, that came later for me. But in school, it was two of them. The only two were because of Lily.
But not in school. But outside of school, yeah. I definitely got into a couple
We can't
fights.
talk about those sorts of things.
We actually were in a fight together.
You and I?
No, well, we were not against each other, but we were in the fight together.
With who?
On the hill.
Oh, yeah. She broke your necklace.
Uh-huh. And at that point, I lost my shit.
And then she had a heart attack.
And then she had a heart attack. Once she pissed me off because she broke my necklace.
She had a heart attack.
She had a heart attack. Because she saw how pissed off I got.
Girl, bye.
I was like, all right, I'm done being nice.
Yeah.
Like,
she broke your necklace. I remember.
Yeah. At that point, I saw red. I was like, oh, hell no.
And then she did too. She fell down.
She fell down and pretended to have a heart attack.
Here we go.
Uh-huh.
Do you think that you would ever get into a relationship with someone that has a child? Like, do you want to be a step parent, or do you want to be a parent, or are you cool without having children?
For a long time, I wanted to have kids.
Yeah.
And for a long, long time, I always thought I would have children. Mm-hmm. Like ever since I was really young, I always thought, oh, I'm going to have kids. And I even got married with the intention of having children. And I remember like at some point in my marriage, actually, we looked into donors and options and IVF and all this stuff. And I considered it. I dated somebody who had a child who was little, just like Mel, like he was 3. So for me, it was always, kids were always kind of part of the equation in some way. But as I got older, I think things kind of shifted, and I realized maybe I don't know. Maybe it is overrated. Maybe I don't need to have kids. Yeah. Maybe it's not in the cards for me, and that's fine. And I don't necessarily, care if I do, if I don't. I'm not somebody that's like, I need to have a child today or tomorrow. I'm not somebody that's also like, absolutely not. I will not date you if you want to have children. Yeah. Nor am I somebody that's like, the thing is once you start to get older, and I'm not talking about for myself, but I'm just saying in general, once you start to get older, you're going to encounter people who have kids. Yeah. Maybe not so much in the gay community, but in the lesbian community. But definitely, I think in general.
I think in the lesbian community it's a lot more common than we think.
Maybe there are more couples that have had children and then they separate and then they're starting to date again and they're like, oh, well, I come with kids. Yeah. I know it happens a lot in the straight community. I think once you get past 35, someone's going to have a child at some point.
I agree with you.
So for me, it's not so much would I or wouldn't I. I do think that if, let's say I was with someone and a child somehow came into the picture, whether that was they had a child or we had a child or a child was dropped off on our doorstep by a stork, I would be open to that. Like I'm totally open to that. I'm not somebody that would be like, absolutely not. We're not having kids and I don't want to have kids.
Okay. So you're open either way.
So I'm open to whatever, the universe wants to present me with. I'm open to it, but I'm not actively seeking to go have a child and like, do IVF or I would never get pregnant.
You wouldn't carry a baby?
It is not something I ever want to experience. No way,
What
no
if
how.
someone asked you to be a surrogate for like $50,000?
There's no amount of money in this world that would make me want to go through that kind of torture.
Torture.
I know people say it's the most beautiful experience in the world. It is not. I've seen it. It is not. My cousin sneezes and she has babies. Like, it is crazy. Like, and she barely has any pain. And she talks about how beautiful it is to be pregnant
Yeah.
and how it's the most amazing. And I'm just like, okay, well, you can carry my baby if I ever decided to have a baby. But I don't even want to go through the IVF experience, like having like my eggs taken out or anything like that. Like, that even sounds painful and torturous.
Yeah, but then I think we're going to learn next week about different procedures that might not be as torturous.
Well, I don't know. I think they're all going to be somewhat torturous.
Well,
But
my friends that I recently saw, they had it through ICI.
yeah, I mean, they're
something
all
like
different.
that.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
different ways, and there's IUI. And,
IUI
Yeah.
is what they did.
and turkey basters. And
The cup.
on the podcast, I mean, on the Netflix show that I was
Yeah.
talking about, some of them were conceived via turkey baster.
I know a couple that instead of a turkey baster, they did the cup.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a menstrual cup,
And you put the sperm in there and put that in?
and then put that in the woman, and it has to sit in there for I don't know how long. I don't know how many hours.
That is interesting.
They did it through a cup.
Huh. Yeah, but see, no, I have no desire. No, nothing's ever been in. Nothing's ever coming out.
I mean, things have been in.
Talking about my gynecologist. But no, I do not. Do you want to? Do you want to carry?
Heck no. See, I almost slipped and said the F word. I caught myself. No, I don't want to. I think maybe 10 years ago I would have been down for it. But now, no. I want Fernanda to carry. I want to cater to her. I want to be that baby mama that like, rubs her belly and goes to the appointments. And I want to do all that. I won't have like a gender reveal party, but a baby shower.
How do you think you would be if you were pregnant?
The biggest pain in the butt.
Oh my God, I would be the worst pregnant
I'd be
person.
like, oh my God. Like,
my back
everything
hurts.
would hurt. And I would have anxiety to push this thing out. I'd be like, give me all the epidural.
I would be like, give me all the drugs and I'm having a C-section.
No, I don't. I want it to go through the canal.
And knock me out. I don't want to be awake for it.
No, and I don't want, like, I know they say it's beautiful when the baby's put on you with all the blood and stuff, but like, I have a weak stomach. I don't know if I could. I'm like,
When I was born, my dad passed out.
oh, he did.
Yeah, my mom always would tell me that story. She said, your dad was the worst. I'm sitting there pushing you out, and he's over there with the shoe booties on his head, passed out on the floor.
Oh my God.
And I was like he actually passed out? And she's like, yeah, he passed out for like 5 minutes. He was out on the floor.
Oh my God.
He couldn't see, because my dad has this like horrible fear of needles and blood.
Uh-huh.
So every time he sees a needle or blood, he passes out.
Oh my God.
And I was just like dying laughing.
That's
I'm like,
pretty
oh
funny.
my God. My mom goes, and then in the middle of me pushing you out, I'm yelling at the nurse to get him off the floor so he can see you be born.
Yeah, I wouldn't pass out. I would have a new appreciation for Fernanda when I see her push the baby out.
Yeah, I don't think I could.
She had Mel without
could do it.
epidural, so I told her this time around.
Holy smokes. She was young though, too.
Yeah, but this time she's gonna go through the pain again. I'll be there. She'll squeeze my hand.
Well, they always say women have like that amnesia that happens after you give birth, so that you forget how painful it was and you get pregnant again.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like an actual thing.
That's an interesting
And
fact.
then you keep going through this horrible, painful process. And then the horrible, painful process of raising them. Because then you invest all this time, money, energy, love, affection for them to grow up and hopefully be incredible, great human beings.
You just cross your fingers.
You cross your fingers and then take care of you in return when you're old.
Yeah.
Right? That's the whole reason why you have children.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
So that they can be great human beings in society, but also then take care of you
take care of
as
me.
the parent when you get old. Or
Yeah.
it could all backfire on you and you create a little monster and they don't want anything to do with you.
Oh, and that's sad. That's
And
a
that
sad
is-
reality for some people.
That is the sad reality. And
Yeah.
I'm like, do I want to go through that?
Yeah, it's like rolling dice.
I don't think I want to go through that. I don't want to have a
I
little
think you just talk
minion.
yourself out of the because there was a part of you right now that was like maybe, and now you just talk yourself
You
out
know
of it.
why? The only reason why I consider having a child is because I am the youngest of my siblings. And like there is a very big age gap.
Yeah.
You know, like my oldest sibling is 19 years. She hates it when I say 20. 19 years older than me. And then the youngest of them three and I are 14 years apart.
Yeah.
So, and only one of them have children, of which we don't really have much of a relationship with. They're older too. And I don't really have any other like siblings or family members that are that much closer to me.
do it.
That when I get old, I'm like, who's going to take, and I like older women. So I'm like, who's going to take care of me when I'm old? I'm going to have like a nurse.
You wouldn't mind that.
Well, I'm going to need to have a lot of money in order to have a nurse, to be able to afford a nurse to take care of me when I'm like 80 or 90.
You're going to be fine.
Although when I'm 80 or 90, I hope to not need a nurse. Maybe when I'm like 110.
We'll be fine together somewhere. Fernanda will put me in a home.
Yeah, see, I don't want to be in a home.
I don't want to be in a home. They are mean to people in homes.
Yeah, I don't want to be in a home. I don't mind being in like a community where I'm with a bunch of other older people.
You'll be with me.
And
What
we're
are you
all
talking
in like
about?
our own little townhomes, you know.
We'll
or
be together.
in like my villa in Italy.
Oh, I don't know if I'll be in Italy. I don't know where I'll be.
But that's where I want to be. I want to be in my villa in Italy, and then maybe have a nurse that takes care of me.
Yeah.
And I'll be playing like, you know, canasta with all the old ladies in the neighborhood. Sipping whiskey.
You're going to.
Like my grandma
Yeah.
to this day, who's 97.
Sips whiskey.
Sips whiskey. I can't. That's the only reason why I would consider having a child, as selfish as that probably sounds.
That's why you're not going to have one.
Is that I
Selfish.
just no, and then obviously all those beautiful moments that you think of, right? Like having family meals and you have
Yeah.
a table full of your kids and their partners and holidays,
Being a
and being a
grandparent.
grandparent and cooking with your child. Like that was always a dream I had, was like having my kid in the kitchen and teaching my kid like,
Yeah.
you know, their grandmother's recipes
Yeah.
and all of that. And those are all things that to me are the beautiful moments that I would want to have a child for. But then
There's all the stuff in between.
all the stuff in between that to me is far bigger than those beautiful moments.
Yeah, because those beautiful moments, as much as you want them, like Mel isn't going to want to come into the kitchen now to do anything because her friends are online and she wants to play online. And people will say, well, we'll take that away from her. But it's like, then, you know, right now she's an only child, right? She is homeschooled right now until she goes to high school. I don't want to take the one thing that gets her socialized with children away from her either.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like you got to find a balance of like when to do it, when not to do it. So it's hard. Parenting, no matter if you're a step parent or like the actual parent, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's not always a rewarding thing.
No. And also like you think about like long term as far as you have them for 18 years and then you got to let them go.
That's sad.
And I'm like, I wouldn't be able to let them go.
No, it's sad.
I would be like fucking Gypsy Rose's mother.
Oh my God, that woman.
You're home. You don't feel well. You're gonna stay here with me forever.
No, that lady is crazy. She was
Like
crazy.
you gotta be with mama forever.
No.
You can't grow up.
No.
No, but I just, in all honesty, like that's the part that I think breaks my heart. Is that you spend all this time with them, you nurture them, you love them, you give them all the tools, and then you have to set them free.
You have to, like a little bird.
Like a little bird. I think that's why every time that happens, women usually are like, okay, let's have another child so that the cycle is always continuing. You don't have anybody that leaves your nest.
Right. And then when you do have an empty nest, it's sad.
Yeah. I mean, my mom had an empty nest for like 2 years before she passed.
Yeah.
like she was just, and I don't think she was happy about it.
I don't think so either.
She was calling me all the time, like, where are you? Are you coming over? What are you doing? And I was like, I think you can cut this umbilical cord, Mom.
She wasn't ready to.
She was, nope.
No.
Mm-mm. That would be me.
Yes, I know that would be you.
I'd be like, you're not going anywhere. I'd be the mom that shows up at their vacation.
I would not let you be that mom.
You're here? I didn't know you were coming. You didn't tell me. Oh my God.
You better never. No. No.
Could you imagine?
No, I don't want to.
No, I probably wouldn't be that mom. Yes, I would.
Yeah, you would. I think you would be.
Well, I think we're going to wrap it up here. We chit-chatted quite a bit about little Melly.
Yeah, that's all for us. Make sure you guys, rate us and leave us some comments. It's always cool to read them. And I hope you guys have a great week. Mm-hmm. And we will see you guys next time.
Later, boos.
Later.
Thank you so much for listening to Let's Say More, a podcast brought to you by myself, Solange Aurelio, Ava Mozaffari, and produced by Rosella Testa. Video and audio edited by myself as well, Solange Aurelio.